So we're doing day 4, sine and cosine ratios to calculate lengths. If you recall yesterday, we did sine and cosine ratios to calculate angles. Do you have your notes? Can you open it up, please? So in this white space, try to recall the steps that you've done so far. What's the very first step, no matter what? Yeah, good, you guys. Label. Number 2. Once you've labeled it, you kind of have to identify what you know and what you don't know and what you want. So after you label, you want to identify. What do I know? What do I want? Also, what do I not know? And that helps you rule out which equation I'm not going to use. And number 3, you're going to set up equation. So if you're solving for sides, what do you got to do? If you're solving for lengths, what do you got to do? Divide or multiply. Good. That's cross multiply. And what if you're solving for angles? What do you got to do? The inverse, right? The second function. Okay. So from this, solving lengths, question mark, cross multiply. Solving angles, question mark, second function. Okay, so for the first 2, let's see if we can identify and label and all this stuff. So first step, label. What I like to do is I like to mark the angle. That's the one I'm going to work with. And notice that they're giving us an angle. So, and we're trying to solve for little a. What is little a? Good, it's a side, right? So we're going to have to cross multiply here once we've got it set up. So I like to start with the op. Oh my gosh. I like to start with the op because it's right across from the angle you're going to work with. Find that 90, right across, and then the adjacent fills the spot because there's only one spot left. So let's identify. Second step. What do I not know anything about? I don't know nothing about op. So which formula do I have to use? Remember, it's SOHCAHTOA. Which one does A and H? Cosine, right? Cosine. So the cosine of 23 degrees, remember the angle always goes next to the cosine. Now which ratio? A over H, adjacent over hypotenuse. A over 12, cross multiply. Multiplying both sides by what? How would you isolate for A? Multiply both sides by? Yeah, 12. So 12 comes up here, 12 comes up here, and you've solved for A. If you're in the right mode, you'll get what value? 11, good. And I guess it's centimeters. Let's go to part B here. First step. What is it? Label. That makes x the what to 34? Good, op. X is the op. Find that 90. Straight across that 90. This 24 is the hype. I don't know anything about the adjacent. There's no information given about the adjacent. So which one does the O and the H? So, right? So jot down the sign. What goes right next to sign? 34. Now the op over the hype. X over 24. Is this one very similar to part A? What do you got to do to both sides? Multiply by 24. Sine 34 times 24. If you're in degree mode, what should you get? 13.4. Beautiful. You're following along on your calculator as well as the notes, making sure you can do all this. You'll notice that the strategies, the structures are all the same as with tangent, just different ratios, different sides. Now what do you think is going to happen on the next two if for these two we were timesing? Yeah, you can predict what's going to happen. Let's see if it turns out. Mark 42. Straight across. This is the op. Find that 90. Straight across. That's the hype. This makes 23 the adjacent. Which formula is doing adjacent and hype? Because I don't know nothing about the op. I can't even use it. I don't know anything about it. Cosine. What goes next to cosine? 42. And you're thinking to yourself, A over H. Which one's A? Which one's A? 23. Can I just times by 23 on both sides? No, I can't. I could divide by 23 on both sides. I could. What if I divided by 23 on both sides? Would I have x alone? I would, but it would be on the bottom. We don't want it on the bottom. Where do we want x? On the top. Right now it's bottom right. The only place it can go is top left. That's the cross multiply switch. They switch places. Divide by x on both sides. No, times. Divide by 23 on both sides and then flip it. $30.9. Everybody's with me? So see if you can do part D. I'll wait for you guys. See if you can do part D. Okay, double checking your answer with me on part D. Okay, just do a quick scan of the whiteboard. Make sure you've got the same as me. 15.7. Okay. Now I'll just give you a little 1-minute blurb about the activity, and then you're free to explore the activity together with your partner. This is called a row game. Grab a partner. One person does side A, the other does side B. Your answers should match, even though the questions are different. So if you're person A, you would fill out this as SOHCAHTOA, you had to put in an H, an H, and a T. But if you're person B, you had to fill it out like this. You had to do a different thing, I guess, but you ended up with the same answer. So it's self-checking. If you guys get a wrong answer or a different answer, then who went wrong, right? Okay, so have at her, and good luck. It's a good activity. It really covers basically everything that you need to know about primary trig.